The 3-wood is arguably the hardest club in our bag to hit. If we can hit it, we can hit it off the ground, off the tee. It is going to be a super important club for us. If we can't hit it, we often tend to just completely shy away from it, and we're losing a lot of potential opportunities where we can take advantage of this club. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the concepts you need to have to be successful with your 3-wood, the setup position you need to be in, and some swing thoughts on a drill that's going to massively help you. Not only this, I'm also going to show you the difference between hitting it off the ground versus off the tee, and some differences you might see in terms of the flight as well. You do not want to miss this video, as it's going to help you improve your game. So before we get into the nitty-gritty on how to hit a 3-wood, we need to go through two crucial concepts, and they are angle of attack and strike location. So firstly, angle of attack. What is angle of attack? Angle of attack is, how is that club head traveling as it hits the ball? Is it traveling on the way down? Is it traveling pretty level, or is it traveling on the way up? So is it descending, neutral, or ascending as it hits the ball? A lot of people look at the 3-wood and go, it looks like a mini driver. So what do they try and do? They try and hit up on the ball, and ultimately when we see this, we're going to see some poor results. Any ball that is on the ground, so there's no tee, it's on the ground, we have to hit down on it to a certain degree. The reason being is we need to get some compression on that golf ball. So with a 3-wood, we want to be seeing roughly anything from a degree on the way down to maybe 4 degrees on the way down. So we need a descending blow. Now here's the thing, this brings it beautifully into the second concept we have to understand, which is strike location. So whenever the ball is on the ground and you're hitting a 3-wood, if you start to try and hit up on the ball, the strike is going to go lower and lower and lower on the face. Now this can go too low and potentially be a top shot, or you can still hit it slightly low on the face. You're going to get a very low ball flight. You're not going to get it in the air at all. So actually we are trying to hit this ball slightly higher in the face. The only way we can do that is by actually having that descending blow on the ball. That actually rises the strike location higher in the face. That produces a higher launch, better spin rates, ultimately produces better shots. So let's now talk about the perfect setup position for a 3-wood off the deck. And again, this is going to match the concepts we just spoke about. So the biggest issues I see are people try and help the ball up. We just discussed that. But what does it look like in terms of setup? Ball position gets way too far forward, weights get back, too much tilt to the upper body, and then from there they try and obviously help it up. That's not what we're trying to achieve here. We know we're trying to have that descending blow. Our setup's got to match that. First thing that we're going to do, we're just going to favor a little bit more weight on our lead foot. So we're going to go a little bit more, maybe 55 to 60% of our weight on our lead side. Again, this is going to promote that low point being slightly past the ball and that slight descending blow. Now, as well as this, we're then going to add in a little bit of tilt with the upper body. I see people either go too much this way to where they're leaning towards the target, or they go too much this way where they go away. Now, a very easy way of looking at it is you'll either be sort of somewhat straight up and down to somewhere around 6 degrees. 6 degrees is about the 1 minute hand on a clock, just for reference, guys. So it's very, very subtle. So it's just a little bit of tilt away. And again, that's just going to put you in a good position to where that club's going to want to work on a great plane around your body. So we've got 60% of our weight on our lead foot. We've then got a little bit of tilt. Now, for the crucial one that I see people get wrong all the time, ball position. And let's keep it super simple. We're obviously trying to hit down on this ball ever so slightly. We want to see the golf ball be positioned somewhere just outside the lead ear to underneath the logo on your left pec muscle right there. So logo to just outside the left ear, sort of the same reference guide, but it's going to be super simple. It's going to massively help you. Now, why does this promote a slight descending blow? Well, the lowest point of our swing tends to roughly be underneath our left armpit to left shoulder joint. By having the ball somewhere underneath the logo to just outside the left ear, we're going to have that ball slightly further back in the arc to where we're still hitting down on it a little bit, but not too excessively. So ball position underneath the lead ear or underneath the logo. We've got a little bit more weight on that lead leg, a little bit of spine tilt. Final thing is, I don't want to be seeing you set up with the hands back. I like to see the hands either level or slightly forwards. Again, that's just going to promote that good weight shift right there. Let's now give this a go for you just as we hit this one. So there you go, nice high draw. I'll take that every time. Copy that setup position and you're going to be far more successful with your 3-wood. So now let's run through a couple of key swing thoughts that can help you increase the chances of you being successful with the 3-wood. Now the first one is tempo. Tempo is crucial no matter what club you are hitting, but I see, especially with longer clubs, not just 3-wood, you know, long irons, hybrids, 3-wood and driver, players get very snatchy, they get very quick. So what does that look like? Well, that looks like when they go to the top of their swing in an effort to be really eager to try and hit this ball hard, they just lunge their upper body at the ball. They might jump out with their legs, and ultimately now there's a lot of excess movement going on. It's going to be very hard to be consistent. So one of my favorite drills, just to get players used to this sort of notion of being patient, having good tempos, just do some one-arm swings. So just do some swings with your left arm only and just get used to feeling what it feels like. When you have just one arm on the club, you can't necessarily overpower the swing. It just gets you in a really good sort of position, just where you can feel that beautiful rhythm, that beautiful flow. Now, the great thing is you can do this out on a golf course. Before you're hitting or you're just waiting, if there's a group ahead of you, you could just stand there, just one arm only, left arm only, a couple of nice swings, and just feel that great rhythm as you go. Once you've done it a couple of times with your left arm, grab it with your right, and again, same thing, feel that rhythm as you go. Then from there, you would obviously place two hands on, try and recreate that same rhythm. Now, one of the other things players like to do is they like to do a count. They might say 1, 2, 3. Now, how does that look like, or what are we trying to do there? Well, what they would do is they would take the club back on 1, they would try and say 2 at the top of the backswing, and then 3 at the point of contact. So it's a great little check that can help you out on the golf course, just keeping that rhythm. Now, the second thing is to make sure that we're not falling back on the shot. So what does that look like? Well, when we get to the top of the backswing, you often see players, again, try and help it up, they fall backwards this way. So a swing thought that I love to give players is to actually pick a spot just past the golf ball and say, look, I want you to try and hit that spot. If you've got a spot about an inch past the ball, you're going to go, right, now I've actually got to shift my weight. I've got to get into this covering position. My chest is over the ball, and that is going to promote a great ball then ground contact. So that little simple swing thought is going to help you shift your weight, get your chest more over the ball, and ultimately from there, get that descending blow. So let's now give you a drill to help you train this feeling of that slight ball then ground descending blow contact. What I want you to do is grab a tee and just pop it on the ground. Now, because a tee is obviously a lot smaller, a lot thinner than a golf ball, this is going to hone in your focus a lot more. So the aim of this is to make a swing and just clip that tee off the ground. Again, we're not putting it into the ground, we're just resting it on top in a nice sideways position. Now, if I just do a couple of practice swings, what I'm trying to achieve with these practice swings is that nice sort of, as you can see there, just that contact with the ground. Nothing too diggy, nothing too light. We just want to be seeing that nice little bruising of the ground as we swing through. Now, as I then step into the tee, I'm going to try and recreate that same feeling and try and get that tee flipping in the air. If I come into the ball and I'm too high or I help it up, you'll see I'll completely miss it. And obviously if you hit it fat, you're going to see a whole lot of grass go everywhere if you're hitting off grass. So let me try and just have that nice descending blow with the tee right there. Let's see if I can do it. As you can see, I pretty much clipped that perfectly off the top. That's going to give me the best feeling possible to now put a ball down and try and recreate that same sensation. So again, we're just trying to have that slight descending blow on the golf ball. By having that tee there to start with, it narrows in my focus. Now I can put a ball down, try and recreate that same feeling to give myself the best possible chance of having that ball then ground contact and that descending blow on the golf ball. So let's now talk about how to hit a 3-wood off the tee. Now again, it's going to be very similar, but there are going to be a couple of minor alterations. Now firstly, what are we going to see different in terms of ball flight? So whenever you're hitting the ball on the ground, you tend to find that due to it being fully on the ground and you hitting slightly down on it, the strike location can never get really too high in the face. So as a result, what you tend to find is that the ball spins a little bit more and it takes off at a slightly lower trajectory. Now, when you hit it off the tee, obviously now you've got that little bit extra margin for error. So what tends to happen, angle of attack gets a little bit shallower. From there, strike location gets a little bit higher. So ultimately what we see in terms of ball flight is a ball that launches a little bit higher but spins less. So you might find that the carry distance between a 3-wood off the ground versus off the tee could be anything from 5 to 10 yards difference. You know, off the tee, it's going to go further. Off the ground, it's going to go a little bit shorter. That's just something just to bear in mind when you're out on a golf course, maybe trying to go for a par 5 and 2, or maybe you're hitting something off the tee to try and get it into the fairway. Just something just to think about when you're doing that. Now, in terms of trying to make these subtle alterations to be successful, what are they? Well, now the ball is on a tee, we don't have to hit down anywhere near as much. So very simply, we can have our weight a little bit more 50-50, and then from there, we might move the ball a little bit further forwards. Now, the furthest forwards that we would want to move the ball is our left armpit. We wouldn't want to go any further than the left armpit. Why? Because now we're going to start to be hitting up on it too much. Our path can go too far to the left and we can see some negative consequences from that. So if you want to tee the ball up quite high, some players still like to tee it down low, keep everything very much the same. But if you are that golfer, a little bit like myself, who likes to move the ball a little bit further forwards when it's off a tee, just so I can get a bit more out of it, what I would do is, rather than have it underneath my left ear to the logo, I'll maybe have it more underneath my left armpit. I might have a little bit more sort of neutral weight, 50-50, and then from there, I'm just going to feel like it's a little bit more of a sweepy strike. I might still brush the ground, but nowhere near as much as I do with a 3-wood off the deck. So let me give that a go for you. Let's see what happens. So I've got the ball a little bit further forwards, hands a little bit more neutral, weight a little bit more neutral. Now let's give it a go. Definitely a higher flight, definitely carried a good sort of 5 to 10 yards further, and that is exactly what I expected to see. So just factor that in whenever you're hitting maybe a 3-wood off the tee versus off the ground. It is going to go a little bit at different distances. You're going to see a little bit of a different ball flight as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you do have any questions, please ask away. And if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.